Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Łukasz Zadworny. I'm responsible for the Volkswagen brand on Polish market. And I would like today to elaborate a little bit about the electromobility and about how to bring the electric vehicles to the masses. And the key answer to that should be our new platform, MEB. But let me start with the certain background at the beginning. Nowadays, everybody is talking about the climate changes, but how relevant those changes are, how rapidly they are progressing. In Volkswagen, we do believe that we have to do everything in order to stop all negative environmental trends. That's why Volkswagen Group stays fully committed to Paris Climate Agreement, and by which till 2050, the group will become fully CO2 neutral. The decarbonization strategy goes into two directions. The one is prevention, the other is reduction. The prevention basically is then executed via, for instance, power efficiencies or converting into renewable energies. And every time that the CO2 emission is not avoidable, Volkswagen is engaged into different projects like, for instance, forest conservation. By the way, Volkswagen Group worldwide is responsible for more or less 1% of the CO2 emission, and that's to be stopped till 2050. Volkswagen is opening a new great chapter in its history with the fundamental changes that it brings to the business. By the way, the whole industry is doing the huge transformation, and Volkswagen is not only a part of it, but it's shaping its future. That's why our future will be electrified. And for sure, from our perspective, the icon of that change will be model ID.3. Volkswagen has consistently opted for electric drive, battery electric drive system, not only because it's most efficient in terms of the CO2 reduction, but also because it meets very ambitious CO2 reduction targets in the future. It is also technology that can be implemented on a large scale and bring basically e-vehicles to the masses. We are just preparing new cars that, in our opinion, will be just better than the current ones. From this year till 2023, Volkswagen will invest solely in e-mobility 9 billion euros. Over the next 10 years, we will produce more than 10 million cars. But let's forget for a while about those figures and focus on the MEB. I would like just to ensure you that the MEB will be our tool to bring the e-mobility to the masses, to democratize electric vehicles. That will make electric cars move from the niche product into the mass-produced phenomenon. But it wouldn't be possible, probably, without our new platform, which we call BEV. In 2020, on our roads, the new generation of cars will appear. Those cars will be built on MEB platform exactly, the modular electric drive tool kit, which is easily scalable and allows to produce smaller and bigger cars. I would like to focus for a while on that and again to prove that this tool will bring the electric cars to the masses. I will just try to give you a few examples based on our brand new model about the features of MEB. And just because there is no combustion engine, that there is no cardan tunnel, we can offer much more space. For example, interior of ID.3 is rather very much comparable to the interior of Passat, while the exterior dimensions are very much comparable to those ones from Golf. Our cars will be fully connected. What does it mean? What do I mean by that? The charging process will be fully manageable via your smartphones. We will deliver plenty of mobile services, among those a route calculator or a charging spot reservation. This car, shortly speaking, is like a tablet on the wheels. You can update it anytime and with services that you just need at a certain moment. In cars built on MEB, we will install a numerous amount of driving assistance systems, but one of the biggest challenges producing or creating that platform was how to install and how to connect a high voltage battery as compactly as possible to the underbody of the car. The result of that combination is a huge battery shaped like a bar of chocolate and located as low as possible in the underbody of the car. That, by the way, the way how the battery is located brings even more safety, especially when we talk about the side collisions. But also probably you've heard that also the ID.3 will be equipped with the rear-wheel drive. So if you would combine this feature with a very low center of gravity, then we will just come to the conclusion that such features are currently known only from sporty cars, sporty brands, and now available with electric vehicles. With its scalable battery, we can shape the car accordingly to the requirements of the driver. For a shorter mileage, for a city usage, basically a smaller capacity of battery is fully sufficient. A bigger battery gives much more freedom and, of course, offers a much higher or longer distance that you can go with. At the series launch production, we will offer ID.3 with 3 batteries. We will start with 330 kilometers mileage range, of course, based on WTP. Then there will be a 460 kilometer mileage and 550. If we'll just keep in mind that the average European commuter is traveling more or less 35 kilometers per day, then we will just come to the conclusion that the charging process can take place once per week, or maybe sometimes even once per 2 weeks. Already right now, there is more or less 70 models within the planning grounds of Volkswagen Group, and regardless whether it's Skoda, Audi, Seat, the MEB platform fits perfectly to the requirements of each brand, of each segment and models, without losing a unique character of the brand. By the way, also, as you know, Volkswagen has fully opened that platform to the market, and already right now we can share the information that MEB platform will be also utilized by Ford brand. Our brand new model, the ID.3, it was just presented during the Frankfurt Motor Show a few weeks ago, and today we have our Polish premiere. So for those of you who did not see that car yet, I strongly recommend to go there and see our new baby. We will announce the full price list of that model at the beginning of 2020, but already right now I can assure you that the entry price of that model will be below 130,000 zlotych. And at the same time, I can also share with you that already Europe-wide, 33,000 of potential customers pre-booked that model even before we were presenting that. One more thing I think is worth of mentioning. The ID.3 will be world's first CO2 neutral car for whole production chain. Yeah? So starting from suppliers, it also considers the suppliers of the battery cells. By the way, the battery cells will be produced here in Poland, in LG Chem, so the factory located just next to Wrocław. Also, some of components of that model will be produced in Poznań. And by the way, those suppliers are also obliged to be CO2 neutral. We believe that electric car is the best choice for our customers, and we must ensure that the electric mobility will be successful. We can ensure and guarantee the future mobility, but we also have to keep in mind the other challenges and requirements that are standing in front of us and the requirements of our customers. For instance, the charging infrastructure. And I just have to share with you my private experience. I'm just trying to be ready for the ID.3 implementation. And for the last 6 months, I'm just effortlessly contacting the energy supplier and the housing community in order to be able to install my wall box, 12 kilowatts. So 6 months gone and still no effect. So for sure, but I do believe that meetings like that and people like us are exactly here to talk and about those challenges and to solve them. Trying to sum it up, the Volkswagen is really shaping the future of mobility. It will really bring the electric vehicles from a really niche brand, a niche product into the massive production. By the way, this is the only way basically to secure the future and to ensure it for our kids. And just last but not least, I just wanted to introduce you. This is first of all, this is my daughter, Iga Zadworna. She's 15 years old. She's vegan, not vegetarian, vegan, but not only because of to make the animals suffering, but also because the mass meat production produces a lot of CO2. She's avoiding being picked up by me to her school and traveling via public transportation just because of the CO2 emissions, unfortunately still of my car. But when I told her about the ID.3, that it will be on the market, she was more than enthusiastic, but at the same time she asked me, how to ensure 100% of the green energy. So I'm leaving you with this question, and hopefully also all of us, and hopefully we will be able to solve those problems and answer those questions of the next generations. Thank you very much.